Step number one in putting custom cabinets into your designs is to choose the right catalog. And you can find those catalogs listed over here on the left-hand side under drag and drop. The catalog I'm currently on is called Designer F, which is a generic custom catalog which is framed and in inches. This is a catalog that's available to everyone. If you're a custom designer, you can use this. If you're a custom cabinet maker, you can use this catalog as well. Now we have other generic custom catalogs built into 2022. If we click on the arrow next to Designer F and I scroll down just a little bit, you'll see Designer E, which is a frameless custom catalog, and Designer M, which is a custom catalog in metric. Now, you're not limited to generic catalogs, though generic catalogs are great because anybody has access to these. But if you are working with a brand specific custom manufacturer and they have a 2020 catalog, you'll find their catalog listed over here on the left as well. All you have to do is go to their catalog, double click on it, choose their products, and when you go to the attributes area, which I'm about to show you in a moment, you'll be able to see all the custom options that are available from that particular manufacturer. For right now though, let's focus on the Designer F catalog. Now when I click on Designer F, you'll see on the left-hand side here that it gives a list of your standard categories, just like any other catalog would. Now if I go into base cabinets, you'll see that all of our standard base categories are listed here again, but there's an extra catalog called Base Custom. Now you do not have to go to Base Custom to customize your cabinets. I'm going to come back to that in just a moment and show you why you would though. So let's say that we take a standard cabinet. I'm going to double click on base door drawer. I'm going to double click on base standard and let's just take an 18. So I'm going to take a base 18, hinge left, drag it over, drop it, let's say right here on my floor plan. Now if I wanted to, I could go in and double click on this cabinet and make modifications. I can double click on it and it'll open up and give me a preview of my cabinet. And if I wanted to, I could change my width, my height, or my depth. I also have the ability to use the add-ons feature. Now the add-ons feature allows me to make modifications to the box itself. I could go in and say, let's choose a toe kick. Let me left click next to the toe kick, go down and say, make it a toe kick left. When I do that, if I scroll and turn, you'll see I now have a toe kick left. Maybe I wanted to clip the back corner or add a door panel on the left. You'll see a whole list of modifications that I can make to this cabinet. Most of your catalogs will have a couple of modifications. When you're working in the designer catalog, you have an entire list of modifications you can make to this cabinet. Let's choose something such as door on the left-hand side. Click on it. If I tilt this, you'll see that I've added a door to the left-hand side. We'll click OK. We'll save that change. Now let's go back to my categories. I mentioned a category called Base Custom. Now when I choose Base Custom, it doesn't break up the cabinets as to doors and drawers and certain types. It actually breaks it up into shapes. Did you want to change it vertically? Did you want to change it horizontally? Let's say that we take a vertical cabinet. It'll ask me, is it a 1 or a 2 configuration vertical cabinet? What that means is how many configurations do you want, or how many different sections do you want in your cabinet? I'm going to choose a 2 configuration cabinet. Now we're working with a base cabinet right now, but if we were working with a tall wall cabinet or a tall utility type cabinet, you'd see that we'd have many more options for multiple configurations. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose a double door, drag it over to my floor plan and drop it. But you'll notice before it snaps to my floor plan, it actually asks me a few questions. Here's a preview of my cabinet. It's asking me what would I like in section number 1. And if I scroll down my list, I'll see all sorts of options. Now section number 1 is always the bottom. We're always starting at the bottom of the cabinet and working our way up. So I'm going to choose a drawer. You'll see a drawer has snapped in, and you'll see the top section is an open with a shelf. For the top section, I'll scroll to the top and click on section 2. When I click on section 2, if I click open, it's now just an open section. I can click OK. I can slide this over, snap it next to the base 18. I can determine how wide it's going to be, let's say 36, and hit enter. My cabinet has now snapped into place. Now I didn't line up just exactly right, so let me go ahead and just move it just a little bit again and let it snap into place. Now you'll see it's perfect. And if you remember before, when I modified the base 18, all I did was double click on it. Well, if I double click on the new cabinet, the same thing will happen. It'll open up. I can change my width, my height, my depth. I can go to add-ons and add modifications, or I can go to another tab called variables. I love the variables tab. When you use a variables tab in most catalogs, it'll offer you a few options, such as opening the door, pulling a drawer out, or such. When you're working in a designer catalog, the variables tab is your doorway to being able to modify every component piece of this cabinet. So if you're a custom designer or a custom manufacturer, you have complete control of this cabinet now. Very powerful. And on the left-hand side, it'll give you a list of the areas where you can work. Now you'll see there's a lot of information here. Let's take a few examples of some things we can change. Let's go in and take a look at config. This is actually the configuration of the cabinet. Right now I have a drawer bottom, open shelf, or open unit at the top. I can actually come in here in style 1 and 2 and change what's in those sections. Or if you look right now, my drawer is 19.5 inches. I could actually change the dimension. If you watch my picture, I'm making the drawer section smaller. Now I'm making the drawer section larger. You have the ability to modify that. I also have the ability to modify my construction types. Let's take a look at this cabinet and you'll see that we have wood corner blocks. If I click on case type and I clicked on top style, I could say let's use I-beams. We've now used I-beams. If I wanted to change the back of the cabinet, I could click back style and choose a new back style. Or I could go to bottom construction, click on that. And if you happen to be working in a series, I like to, when I'm working with frameless cabinetry, work with leveling legs, I could actually click on leveling legs, and now it's converted this cabinet to have leveling legs. Lots of flexibility. Now, we can also go in, and let's take a look at this door. You also have the ability to adjust your doors and drawers. Right now, I have a traditional overlay door. Maybe I wanted to make it full overlay, or maybe I wanted to make it inset. All I have to do is find door in my list or drawer in my list, click on it, and it'll give me a list of all of my different options. Here's the actual dimensions of the drawer. Here's how many pulls. If I click the down arrow, it'll go down to 1 pull now. It'll ask me what type of style it is. That's what these browse buttons are on the right-hand side. You can actually choose the style. Or I could go in and say, let's make this inset. Now that's fairly unique in 2020. Most catalogs, most design softwares won't let you show an inset cabinet. If I click on inset, click on the arrow and choose 3/4, that door is now a true inset item. You'll see that that's been set back 3/4 of an inch in the frame. So you have the ability to even create inset cabinetry by using this feature. Now you'll see there's lots of options here. You can spend lots of time. And again, you have total control of all of the components in the cabinet. Now, how did we get to this point? I'm going to click OK and save our change. We simply picked the catalog that we wanted to use. In this case, I chose the Designer F catalog, which is a framed custom catalog. And also keep in mind that the designer catalogs are available to everyone, custom designers and custom manufacturers alike.